Landmines and booby traps. The Russian military has planted thousands of them in Ukraine. Now, even in areas the Russians have fled, innocent civilians are at risk of these lethal weapons. As Chuck Holton reports, one American Green Beret has dedicated himself to helping clear the danger.
Thousands of villages across eastern Ukraine now look like this. Most residents have either fled or died in the fighting. Once areas are liberated from Russian occupation, people start to come back. The downside is what Russian military left behind. Landmines, booby traps, and IEDs litter the landscape, meaning no one is safe until every square foot of land has been cleared.
It can be village, can be field, can be critical infrastructure, whatever. The most dangerous for now is clusters. If you touch it, you can make blow up. The yards, roads, fields, everywhere. Hundreds, I think maybe thousands. But we haven't choice. All of my guys need to be on the dangerous area.
The challenge is that there's no battlefield that is exclusively soldiers forever. The U.S. has gone away from scatterable munitions, scatterable anti-personnel and anti-armor munitions that do not self-detonate over a period of time.
And it can remain dangerous for decades.
This is yet another kind of Russian terror that will have to be dealt with for years to come. It's even more cruel and meaner than firing a missile, because there is no anti-mine system that could destroy at least part of the threat, as our air defense does.
Many people know the joy of taking a walk in the woods, and here in Ukraine, that's a common pastime. But now with almost 2 million acres of land contaminated by landmines, it's going to be generations before people will be able to do that again. And that means that what was once an enjoyable pastime now could be a matter of life and death.
Even when it's not in an active combat zone, the mines can be unstable, and you don't know how long they've been there. By the time you get on top of that thing, you can do everything right, and it can still detonate. But these are things that, they'll kill children down the road. Some of these mines you're seeing in Ukraine will kill children that won't be found. They have for decades all around the world.
Ryan Hendrickson is very familiar with landmines and IEDs from his career as a U.S. Green Beret.
I stepped on a landmine in 2010, nearly took my life. I did 7 more trips back to Afghanistan as a Green Beret.
Upon leaving the military, he wondered what God's plan was for his life going forward.
Everybody, especially veterans, you battle with your purpose. What is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? What mark am I going to leave when I'm gone? Will I be remembered? A lot of people ask that question. And I was searching for that purpose after Afghanistan closed the way it did. And I found it, in February when Russia escalated the war over here in Ukraine.
Hendrickson then headed to Ukraine, not exactly sure what help he could offer.
Americans, we don't have to live in fear of our next step, but a lot of the world does. And Ukraine is when this conflict is over, Ukraine is going to end up being the most landmine country in the world.
It's crazy, the amount of civilian destruction here. Just one of the places that we're looking into.
Now, Ryan works on the front lines, taking on the dangerous work of disarming dozens, even hundreds of landmines in a day.
I've been asked a few times about how I kind of track them down a little bit. So there was one, I already pulled that. And then you got 2, 3, and 4. And then it starts going uphill.
I feel, first of all, it's a respect of guys like him. It's a very difficult job going to another country in war. He can't be with his wife, with his family. It's very important, and I appreciate it.
For this old soldier, it's not about the praise. It's having the faith and hope that something positive can come out of his own tragedy.
So because I believe that when I'm born, and when I die, that's out of my hands. So everything in the middle, life is extremely short. So why not help people while you're here?
In southern Ukraine, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Well, you just wonder at the Russian forces and what are they thinking? Here they're saying we're invading Ukraine because we believe in a greater Russia. We want Ukrainian territory to be recognized as part of Russia. But in that, you're going to lay booby traps and landmines that will take decades to clear. Well, then it's also clear you have no intention of keeping that land if you're going to booby trap it. What in the world are you doing? You're not some liberating force. You're a destructive force. You're a terrorist force. These are crimes against humanity. I hope the UN wakes up to this and really start censuring them. Yes, they're part of the Security Council, but have you lost your right to participate on the international stage because of what you're doing on the battlefield? I, for one, think you have, but the international community needs to come alongside and say yes. Unfortunately, there's so many economic ties, whether it's energy for Europe or raw materials, aluminum, these kinds of things that Russia is exporting. To really do that, you'd have to shut off the world community and the world economy from that source of supply. I think it's worth it for the sake of the people of Ukraine. If we say we stand with Ukraine, let's be committed all the way through, even if it hurts us in our own economy.